Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible. With special thanks to Revenant, Anerdinwarpaint, Antonio Hernandez, Icestormshadow, Nathan Welch Jr., and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to the Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous beta. As we gear up to head back into the inner city of Kenabres, where the challenge ratings are generally a bit higher than they are out here. We did briefly dip in there, maybe about 10 episodes back, just long enough to pick up Darren and rescue the storyteller. But we've still got at least 4 locations out there we need to touch on. Starting with Camelia's personal quest, which appears to take place out at Gwerm's mansion. That means I have once again swapped Waljif back out, at least temporarily, and I've swapped Camelia back in. And before we actually head back out, let's have a quick chat with one of our party members. Glancing at my notes, I see that we have talked to everyone except for Ember, Nenio, and Camelia. Well, we tried to talk to her, but she rebuffed us. She might be a bit more forthcoming once we finish her personal quest. The elf in front of you is young, still an adolescent by the standards of their long-lived race. A childish, carefree smile plays on her face, and her wandering eyes linger on you for just a moment before darting off again into the distance. Terrible scars cover her body, and a few of her fingers are missing. A crow sits on her shoulder, observing you with its clever black eyes. Ember, why don't you tell me about yourself?
Well, they call me Ember. I used to live in the River City, and now I walk with you. That's my story.
Okay, but, why do they call you Ember?
I've had many names. When I was little, Mom and Dad called me Dove or Cricket or Kitten. Dad called me his Ray of Sunshine. And when my mom was cross, she called me by a long name, a grown-up one. I can't remember it, no matter how hard I try. Then, when I came to live in the River City, the good people called me different funny names, like Ember or Torch or Smoky. I don't know why. They called me Birdbrain because I have a crow. They called me Lucky 7 because of my fingers. The girl raises her hands. The middle finger on her right hand and the 2 smaller fingers on her left are missing. They sometimes called me Grilled Meat and said I was stupid. But I didn't feel hurt. I mean, they're right. I really am silly. They didn't mean to hurt me.
Oh, Ember.
I like Ember. It's a good word. Embers are like people. On the outside, they're gray and cold like stones, but they're warm inside. You can blow on them and they'll start a fire to help you survive a cold night. And that's wonderful, isn't it? Ember it is.
Where are you from?
Far away. From the flower country. The girl gestures vaguely off into the distance. It's so beautiful there. Everywhere there's flowers blooming, golden towers, and waterfalls. And everyone is like me, with pointy ears. There's no round-eared people, no short ones, no horned heads. We lived there together, me and Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad argued a lot. Dad used to say that all the good people should go on the crusade and fight the demons. And Mom said he was silly because it was so far away and none of our business, and that he shouldn't abandon his child. She meant me. But he didn't abandon me. He took me along. He said I was born the same year that the hole in the demon world opened. He said it was a sign that I would be one of the heroes to close it. Of course, I'm not a hero, but I'm here anyway, helping as much as I can.
And where did you get those scars?
It happened by accident. My dad and I came sailing down the river to join the crusade. Dad said that all the good people were going to the world wound to heal it. He said that the crusaders were the best people in the world, and together we were going to win. But when we arrived at the river city, the crusaders got everything mixed up. They thought my dad and I were bad and decided to burn us at the stake. Dad died, and I cried so loudly that one good night realized it was all a big mistake. He started yelling at the other crusaders, even the one in charge, and then walked right into the fire and got me out. The others wanted to stop him, but he took out his sword and scared them away. The kind knight took me to a healer. I later learned that while the knight was pulling me from the flames, he himself was burned so badly that he died not long after. But I'm still alive. A few fingers missing and my skin is funny. I've lived in River City ever since. I never had my own house, but I had many friends. And then the demons came and I met you, and you know what happened after that.
Right. We heard a slightly truncated version of that story when she met Halloran. Is it really so easy for you to forgive them? I'm not sure I could be so merciful.
No one can say how much good or evil they have in them. No one can see into their own soul. Ember smiles and tilts her head. Her inquisitive look wanders over your face, as if she's trying to look into your soul. No one knows until it's time to check.
Do you worship any deity?
The girl shakes her head with an unfailing smile. Dad taught me to pray to Iomade. He said she was a kind goddess, and she called people to crusade against evil. The knights who burned my dad and me worshipped her too. They even lit the fire with a prayer to her, and she did nothing to help us. But then one kind knight, alone, without any gods, changed his mind and saved me. I think the gods are the same as us. They don't understand anything, and they're scared of everything, so they hurt themselves and the rest of us. People worship the gods only because they're afraid of being responsible for themselves. And the gods listen to the praise, and they become smug and arrogant, and begin to believe that they're better than us. But they're no better. They're silly sinners, just like the rest of us. Sometimes I pray to the gods, different ones, the good ones, the bad ones. I ask them to stop fighting and hurting each other. I don't know if they ever hear me, but if they do, the knight who wanted to burn me, he was able to change his mind and do a good deed. If he can change, maybe Baphomet can too.
How did you survive on the streets?
The elf shrugs. There are many good people in the River City. When I sang for them in the streets, they'd often give me coins or bread or sometimes even clothes. I shared everything with the other homeless, and they showed me where it's safe to sleep, where I could get out of the rain and cold, where I could find discarded things. When the demons destroyed the River City, I looked for my friends, but I found no one. They probably all died. The homeless have no supplies or weapons or basements to hide in, and the knights won't protect them either. Knights are like gods, so self-important. They're saving the world and all. What do they care about the homeless? Still smiling, the girl shrugs.
I say, where do your magical powers come from?
These tricks? I have them from my grandma. She used to be my father's grandma, and before that, his father's. I've never seen her myself, but she's very clever and kind. When I lived on the streets, sometimes she left food for me or a blanket in the winter. Sometimes I feel her stroking my hair as I fall asleep. But if I open my eyes, there's no one near. Okay. That actually goes a ways towards explaining what happened to her and her father when they first encountered Inquisitor Halrun years back. It sounds like she's talking about her patron spirit, the spirit that grants her witch powers, which apparently was passed down from one generation to the next in her family. That's not to say that Halrun was necessarily right to do what he did, but it does make his actions a bit more understandable. To him, it would look like two random witches had just shown up in Kenabres, right in the midst of the Crusades. She also sent me Soot. The girl scratches the crow's beak, and the bird grumbles happily in response. She tells Soot how to do different tricks, and Soot teaches me. It appears that the girl doesn't know who exactly gives her these powers, but you can guess from her words that her patron is Andoletta, a powerful archon, one of the Imperial Lords, also known as Grandmother Crow. Yep, that tracks. Not really familiar with that name, but the word archon really jumps out at me there, especially in regards to her kind of ambivalent views on good and evil, as well as her distaste for gods meddling in the affairs of mortals. You're always so cheerful. How do you manage to remain so hopeful when we're surrounded by such horror? Hope? The girl tilts her head and continues with a smile. No. Hope is a lie. What should we hope for? This world is in the hands of demons. The gods can't help, or they don't want to, or they forget about us altogether. The people know they're about to be eaten by demons, but still they quarrel with each other and fight and steal. There's no hope. Only us. Ember? We'll have to win without hope. It will be hard. The entire abyss is against us. We can only win by some miracle, which means we'll have to make one happen. What other choice do we have? We'll work a miracle and win, because we have to. The elf smiles broadly and nods to herself. Man, it is really hard to get a read on her. But to be fair, she's not wrong. Creed is essentially just a big pile of walking miracles, so who knows, maybe we'll actually pull this off. Alright, Ember, we should really get going. So go. The elf watches you with a radiant smile as you leave. She's an interesting character. At a glance, you might mistake her for being overly optimistic and naive, but she's really just detached. She observes and takes in everything that happens around her, no matter how terrible, and then just kind of files it away, doesn't get emotionally invested or take anything personally. Not to mention, of course, you've got her patron spirit behind the scenes. Ember might not have grand plans or see the bigger picture, but you can be sure that Grandmother Crow has some more ambitious designs. At any rate, we're heading back out, and as you can see here, I've burned through pretty much all of our remaining gold to pick up a new item. A Fancy Pants ring, which grants plus 10 cold resist, but also grants an additional plus 2 natural armor for anyone who has Ice Hex, like Camellia. That bumps her AC up to 27. I think that actually gives her the highest AC in the party. Oh yeah, look at that. She has just barely edged out Creed and Sela. Sela's the odd man out now. Of course, she is still hurting as far as offense goes, but as always, I'll note that that will change the second we pick up Fencing Grace. I think we're just about 1,500 XP away. And like 20,000 away before Creed can ride Kaiser. Alright, so at this point, we've pretty much finished the entire outer ring, with the sole exception of these crafting resource nodes, which, honestly, given that we're on the clock and the first one failed to trigger properly, I think we're just going to skip. We're not really set up for crafting anyway. Instead, we're going to make a beeline for Gwerm's mansion, get Camelia's quest taken care of, and then, depending on our condition, we'll branch out from there, start checking out some of these other 3 optional locations. I don't think any of those are actually tied to specific subquests. They're just minor loot encounters. Then after that, it's on to the Grey Garrison, which marks the end of Act 1 of like 6 acts. Failed ritual site. More crafting ingredients. Gwerm's Mansion. This manor in the city's wealthy quarter looks grand, but not overly opulent. It didn't attract a lot of enemy attention during the demonic invasion, perhaps due to the fact that its guards and servants had fled right after the first attacks, and demons are usually more interested in living victims than in their empty houses. Though I suppose the lack of guards might make it a more appealing target to cultists and raiders.
Open your heart to me.
Lights up. And some modest buffs.
This war must end.
Yes.
Good to go. Ah, there you are. At last. You certainly took your time. I thought perhaps you'd got lost on the way here. I was already regretting not drawing you a map. Horgus's relief is palpable, even through his grousing. It's a tragedy to see one's house in such a sorry state. And I always had a few guards in my service, you know. I hope those blockheads died honorably and didn't simply flee at the first sign of danger. Horgus turns towards the corridor with a pensive expression on his face. My manor, you see, contains several items that are of great value to me. I wish to retrieve them before they are discovered by my fellow citizens, who, in the current chaos, seem to have taken to thieving and marauding like ducks to water. So here's what I want you to do. Take a stroll through my house, peek into the rooms, and if you find anyone, kill them on the spot. That'll teach any other opportunist to stay away from Horgus Gwerm's manor. While I was standing here by the entrance, I could clearly hear the sound of someone rooting around inside. Any possessions of mine you find in there, you can keep. It's all as good as lost to me anyway. When you're sure the house is empty, give me a signal from my study window. Wave a torch around or something like that. You can decide when you get there. I've done many things in my life, but playing the part of an intrepid mercenary rummaging through someone else's tastelessly decorated and poorly planned mansion is a novelty to me. How droll. I deeply regret that you had to participate in this, my dear Count. Come now, I love a good caper, even when the setting offends my aesthetic sensibilities. What are these valuable items that they're worth risking your life by going back to the manor? Never you mind. I'm paying you to clear out the ruffians inside, not to ask questions. Horgus glares at you for a few seconds, before dropping his gaze. In any case, you will learn what this is all about just as soon as you clear the way to my study for me. So, restrain your curiosity for now. You're sad about your things. Because of them, you want us to kill people. Don't lecture me about right and wrong. If it gives you some comfort, let me assure you that marauders are not innocent little lambs. Far from it. They would gladly kill you to get their hands on my possessions. Mark my words. You're not coming in with us? The very notion! You think I hire guards to do my bidding just so I can put myself in danger along with them? No, no, no. I've taken on my fair share of risk already today.
But all the same, you took the risk of coming here, even though you were well aware of the danger. What is it that draws you here so strongly, like a moth to a flame?
Camellia, that's enough.
Oh, it seems I hit a sore spot. The girl quickly covers the smile that flickers across her face.
All right, I understand. Well, get on with it. Or are you waiting for a special order? I shall await your signal.
Horgus pauses.
And good luck in there, I suppose.
Horgus. Just as pleasant as I remember him. Let's go ahead and swap that amulet off to one of our backliners. And see what awaits us in this Mansion of Madness. Okay, hour duration. That's worth firing off. A single temporary hit point's not much, but better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Let us proceed. Looks like servants' quarters? No corpses. That's a good sign. Cambion.
I am helpful, am I not?
Yeah, you're great. A box filled with a variety of whips and floggers. Lovely. A set of collars of various sizes. Chains, handcuffs, shackles. A collection to rival a prison's. What else do we have? Sickle of Falter. +1 sickle. Reflex save DC 11 on hit or become staggered. Which one is staggered? That's the one that reduces the number of actions you get per round. Garen gets that every time combat starts. It's actually not bad, but I think we're good with our current loadout. Mind the choke points.
Make every strike count.
No flurry. Let's hold. Boo. We're gonna stay parked here. See if anyone else comes running out.
I'll make short work of this.
Hold.
Alright, let's go ahead and reset Flurry. Okay, I think we're good to advance. Abracandaloo. Just chilling out in the kitchen. Ember, you want to take care of this for us? Thank you, Ember. And it is pretty much over. Unless they've got another demon around here somewhere.
Go for their hearts!
Hold a sec. Gotta give her guys a fair chance to actually coup de grace. Very nice. Let's see what else we've got in here. A recipe for onion soup. Sure, why not? Not my favorite meal, but we will happily add that to our lexicon. Though again, much like with crafting, we don't actually have anyone who is really set up for cooking. It's pretty much just Seela and Darren has better things to do. Banquet hall. Library. And a cultist.
Do not fear! Do not waver!
Wow. Lan. What's going on, buddy? Nice. Target stunned. Melee can be on in back. It was a very dramatic shadow. Good Kaiser. Dogpile on the Cambion.
You are today's sacrifice!
endure this!
Maybe I should swap that sickle onto Creed. I do like the extra 1d3 fire damage on the flaming mace, but we do run into an awful lot of fire-resistant foes. Library's clear. Let's double back a bit. Oh, look at that. We're almost done here. Or not. We've got a second floor. A heavy, blunt object was clearly used to try to break down the door. The lock is broken, and the door cannot be opened. The door to the garden is blocked. Opening it is currently impossible. Two cambions. Alright. Nothing we can't handle? Well, that is not quite what I was going for, but that's fine. We still got surprise.
Precision and grace.
Yeah, let's split our attention here. Nice.
You won't survive me.
And that guy is going to have to spend his first turn swapping to a melee weapon. Correction. That guy is dead. Refocusing. Nicely done. We have somehow transformed him into an oversized ribcage.
Not this time.
What? Come on.
I hope you appreciate this.
Oh. She had another chance to open it. Cool. Right. Silver Robe. +1 bonus on savings throws against fear. Okay. Nothing groundbreaking, but we will slap that on, let's say, Ember. That poor gal really deserves something nice. As for the lock, I actually feel silly now because I just remembered they changed the way that lockpicking works in Wrath as opposed to Kingmaker. In Kingmaker, you got 1 shot per level to crack a lock. If you failed, you had to come back when you boosted your skill, or with a different character. In Wrath, however, you can continue trying to pick the same lock, unless you fail it so badly the lock jams. Once a lock jams, you're out of luck.
What do we have here? I am helpful, am I not?
Yeah, you're alright. There's an awful lot of pictures of King Iravetti around here. Sophisticated instruments of torture. The purpose of some of them can only be guessed at. Oof. I am really trying to not jump to conclusions here. Alright, ground floor's clear. Let's head up top. We're actually making really good time here. The door is locked by some unusual or magical means. There is no lock to be seen. Intriguing. But they do clearly have a room on the other side, so there must be some way to get in there. Let's clear the main room first. Then we'll worry about the side rooms. Let's avoid that doorway. Ah, there we go.
Meditate on your mistakes. Might make you feel better.
Oh, skip the pleasantries.
Always be ready for the worst.
I'm sure they mean us no harm, right?
Lan, man, you are, you're really bumming me out here. Thankfully, we've got a whole party to pick up our archer's slack. Three more levels. 3 more levels and that movement will no longer be a problem. Thank you, Lan. Oh, hi there. Cambion Ranger. Huh. And thus it ends. Good effort. Oh, goodness. This is a much tougher than normal cultist. There we go. I don't think he would have survived standing up anyway, but we were getting dangerously close to a negative channel.
You've crossed the wrong mountain.
And now, it is over. It almost feels unfair with Ember in the party. Let's go check out that room near the stairs. Abracandaloo.
Make every strike count.
There's gotta be something else in there. Moving up. Ah, okay. Move to intercept. Form shield wall. Kaiser. Oh boy. Well, now comes the stabbing. Good effort. On the bright side, Camellia is basically untouchable.
Endure this!
The spirits demand your blood!
Rip and tear. Ooh, magic essence. Just 2 more of those and we can have that holy symbol restored. Alright, let's check that open door. Master bedroom. With a cultist slayer. This feels weird, right? I mean, this guy's tough, but he really shouldn't be solo.
You won't survive me.
Alright, well, such is the fate of those who oppose us. They have a nice nap and wake up in the next dimension. Yeah, I guess we should hold out for a coup de grace. Might as well. Finish him. He is finished. Wait. We are still in combat mode. But why? Aha! Another ranger. Guess he was having second thoughts about butting in. Can't really blame him for that.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
Ooh. That is a lovely stash of scrolls. Okay, well, I have no idea how to get in here. It looks like we might have a sliding panel here, but I'm not seeing any way to trigger it. It is possible we just missed the associated perception check. Oh well, moving on. I might see about winging back out here with Wooljeff a little later. They actually got a surprise round on us. Good for them.
Make every strike count. Is this a mock fight?
Oh. Hello there. All right, now we've got a fight.
I'll cut you wide open.
We'll have Kaiser go for the Cambion. If I recall correctly, the bows are covered in acidic slime. And threat neutralized, albeit temporarily. Thank you, Ember.
Endure this!
Smite makes right.
Go for their hearts!
Ember used Mean Look. It wasn't very effective. Wow. Die, please.
Into the fray!
Hey. Camellia for the win. Sounds like we've cleared the house, too.
I am helpful, am I not?
Short bow of code. +1 short bow, with an extra +1 against chaotic creatures. Not great, but I could see it being useful for very specific builds. Maybe like a bow-based Elven Rogue. Okay, folks, that just leaves the secret chamber here, the secret chamber there, and then this sealed room. Oh, and it looks like we are pushing the hour mark, so I think this makes for a pretty good break point. Let's hit the pause button for now, and we will pick up here next time, as we find out a bit more about the mysterious Horgus Gwerm. Maybe he's got a good reason for being so sour and taciturn all the time. We also haven't really found out how this involves Camellia. She was required for this quest, but she hasn't really said or done anything. Guess we'll find out next time. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official websites, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. As always, links are in the description.